Welcome to Conversations with Celena, the podcast where we discover inspiration, motivation, and information to help you live your best life. I'm your host, Celena, aka Sunshine, and each week we'll dive into conversations with guests who share their testimonies, insights, and advice. We'll explore topics that uplift, encourage, and empower you to be the best version of yourself you can be. So tune in and let's have some fun while we explore all that life has to offer. Keep it smiling, sunshine, and let's go. Hey, sunshine. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Celena. I'm your smiling host, Sunshine. And listen, y'all know I have to do the morning announcements. We got to do the announcements, and then we're going to jump right on into this morning's episode. All right, so it's June. I don't know what happened 9 months ago. Well, I do, but it's a whole bunch of June babies, right? I just want to say happy birthday to everyone celebrating a birthday this month, an anniversary. If you graduated, speaking of graduates, please go register for the Sunshine shout out to the grads. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it this year, but every time I see a graduate, oh my God, I get this big old grin on my face. So I'm so proud of each and every one of you all. So just go and sign up. We're just going to take a day and do some shout outs. It doesn't matter how many I get. If it's 5, we'll do 5. If it's 50, we'll do all 50. And there's going to be a special treat. So if you know of anyone who, now someone to get in my eye right when, if you know someone who graduated, please go and register them. It's no charge. Just put in the information to put them right on in for the shout out. So I'm excited about that. But yes, this month, June, both of my sons were born this month. Sean was June 7th, Joshua June 25th. Then I have my sister, my niece, my nephew, my friend. I tried to call her this morning, my mother-in-law, like all of y'all, just so many people in June. I'm amazed. But anyway, I celebrate each and every one of you all. So happy, blessed birthday. Also, y'all know I cannot not give a shout out to my sponsors for celebrating in April. It was at the end of April, so I guess maybe I'll stop at the end of June because I just feel like I have not given them enough and flowers. But I definitely want to say thank you to all the sponsors that supported Conversations with Celena 6-year anniversary and the mini session of I Owe Her. Like, it was informal. We just was at the Airbnb. I won't do it kind of like that again unless the Airbnb has more parking, but that's another story for another day. But yes, that was a shift in plans, but it still was a beautiful event, small, intimate, but amazing all at the same time. So I'm going to put the sponsors up real quick before we get started. I don't know why we're looking like that, but there we go. So shout out to the sponsors and supporters: Foreseen Company, Massage Envy, Queen Ease, Jamming Company, Quad City Solutions, Close Photography, The Blood Blocked, Felicia Mayweather, TL Media Agency, Taste of Juanita Seasoning, Shirley Burke, Office Depot, Apex Counseling, LP Dillon Designs, Elizabeth Wormley, Evelyn Levon, Joshua Thomas, The Pryor Family, and Nakia Williamson. Thank y'all all so much. Okay. So now, that was a mouthful, y'all. I'm taking me a little sip of coffee because I need y'all to get ready. Share this video because I was on this beautiful young lady's podcast, and it was so, her voice is so calming and her presence, she's just beautiful, right? Just inside and out. And I'm so excited to have her here with me today. She is an educator, a speaker, a financial professional who helps individuals and families build aligned wealth by combining financial strategy and emotional awareness. She also is the host of the podcast that I was on, Sacred Her Story podcast, where everyday women share honest stories of healing, growth, and becoming and remembering wealth. So, becoming, remembering, I don't know what that is right there. I don't know if I messed that up or not, but I'm gonna let her clear it up. But just becoming, growth, healing, and wealth. All right. So, y'all, welcome to the stage. None other. I see her smiling back there. None other than the beautiful Miss Jennifer Natasia Barnes.
Hi, everyone.
Did I say it right, girl? Did I get it right?
Yes, you're good. You're
No,
good.
no, I didn't. You know, the way you said it.
You said Jennifer Barnes, right? Natasia.
Natasia, what did I say?
I don't know.
You don't know what I said. Girl, and I tried to practice it.
Natasia.
Huh?
Natasia.
Natasia. I love it. I'm gonna practice that. Natasia. But for the podcast, so I don't keep sitting over here saying what is it, girl? What is it? I'm gonna call you Sia. Sia.
It would be
Natasia. Natasia. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you got it.
Natasia. See, I did too much talking before I said it. I should have practiced it and then just blurted it all out and then got that behind me. So let's just do this again. Okay. Hold on.
We get.
So we're going to welcome to the stage the beautiful Jennifer Natasia Barnes.
Oh, Sunshine, thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to be here. I just love your energy. Like, you are a ray of sunshine. Thank you for shining your light.
Girl, thank you. That's better than calling myself a hot mess express, girl. Girl, you just a hot mess. But no, I'm not. I'm a beautiful ray of hot mess express sunshine.
Yes. Taking that hot mess into your hot message.
There you go, girl. There you go. And like I said before, I meant it. You are just beautiful inside and out. I enjoy being on your podcast. This over here is a relaxed environment. We just come and share testimonies, businesses, ideas. It's just a platform, an open platform. There's certain topics that I try to stay clear of, but for the most part, just raw, honest, authentic conversations. And I love it here. Like, I love it here. Even though I'll be saying, I'm doing this, girl, I'll be right back over here saying, hey, sunshine. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Celena.
I love it. I love that because, we need conversations. We are interactive beings. So when you can have that conversation where it just fills both people, that's magic, right? So I'm just so honored to be here, and we have great conversations, Sunshine. So I'm like, we can talk about everything and anything. So,
because I'm like, girl, we better get over here and have the conversation, because we just back over here. So it's like, come on, let's go.
Yes. When we go to Tahoe.
What you said?
When we go to Tahoe,
we're gonna do it all over again, live and in person. Yes. Oh my God, I cannot wait to come to Lake Tahoe. That's another thing. Oh, I knew it was something that I wanted to add. So speaking of Lake Tahoe, let me just go here real quick. I do apologize. I kept saying it was something else I wanted to do. It was something else, and I could not think of it until you said Lake Tahoe. But while I'm looking at this, I want you to tell us, how did you decide to start your podcast, Sacred HERstory?
Ooh, thank you for that question. So Sacred HERstory podcast came about, well, as an educator, there's lots of history that we learn throughout elementary, middle school, high school, and it's always his story. So my thing was, what about her story? And for me, I love hearing women's story. I like storytelling. Me personally, I wouldn't say I'm a great storyteller, but I like hearing people who got good stories. Like tell me more about that because this is how our ancestors passed their stories, right? They shared it to their families, as a tool to learn by. And I feel like, with everything that's going on in society today, there's not as much connections, like real connections. And therefore, without those real connections, how do we learn? And so I figured through her story, we can pass on whatever legacy these women who comes on gets, and their story of what they've been through. They can leave this legacy for those of us, younger generation, older generation, whatever lessons, and learn from one another. And so this is where Sacred Her came from, and it just honoring women in their stories. Like even the Bible, we don't hear much about Mary Magdalene or the Virgin Mary, and their story. I mean, like, how was it for you having this pregnancy? What was going on in your head, to pass on for us? John got all his stories in there, James got his story, so I just figured here, having it live and sharing women's actual story, it's like, wow, I'm not alone in this. Somebody actually been through that.
Mhm.
I can relate. And so it's just finding that relationship in the conversations and passing it on and saying to one another, I see you, I hear you, and me too.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yes, I love that because when you do sit back, and we're so busy with the hustle and bustle of life, I think a lot of times we just conform to the things that we've been told and the design of the world and our culture, and it's like in our community, you
Mhm.
just go to different communities and you see people living life differently because that's their environment, that's what they're used to, that's what they've been told. And for most of us, it really has been all about his story, his
Mhm.
story, and not really her story. Women didn't have a voice and still is struggling in some instances to still have a voice. And it's sad, but we women got it going on. Men wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for a woman. The him would not exist if it was not for the her. So I don't know.
Mhm.
I do appreciate that. And
Yeah.
people do try to tell you to niche down and what's your target audience. And
Yeah.
of course, when I think about it, it's people, it's
Mhm.
humans. But if I had to take it and narrow it down, of course my heart is more toward the woman, the
Right.
single mother, the abused woman, the violated woman, so it's definitely toward women and
Mhm.
children, but I don't
Mhm.
discriminate. Most
Right.
of my abuse came
Mhm.
from a man. It started with a woman. Um, some people know my story, some people don't, but
Mhm.
it started there and it does mess with you. So um, people who try to judge other people's lifestyle, they
Mhm.
need to just, it's not our place
Mhm.
to judge. So we just need to accept people, love people,
Mhm.
and celebrate his story and her
Her story.
story.
Yes. Absolutely. I definitely agree, and the biggest part that really resonated with what you said was how, you know, our stories, right? And it's not just about his story, but her story too. And it's just honoring one another with whatever we've been through. We don't know what people have gone through. We really don't know his story either. We know all these elitists and controllers story, but you know we all have our stories and it all should be respected and honored, and to have the space to be seen and held, regardless, is beauty in itself. It just says, you know what, they've been through this. I can relate to this. A lot of people, what they don't know about me is that I dealt with a lot of self-hate for a long time, because I came from a multi-ethnic background and didn't understand why I was so hated upon and didn't relate and couldn't relate, where it wasn't like I wasn't black enough, I wasn't Asian enough, and so this caused a big identity issue with me for years. And still, I'm learning and evolving and changing. And so it's showing myself grace. We you mentioned loving others and um, honoring others. In a sense, but we also need to honor ourselves. And that's the whole other fact is how do we love others when we don't even love ourselves? You know, and so that was something I really had to learn. I've hurt people not intentionally in the past because of my hurt, because of my own pain. And people are like, Jen, you're always so happy. And I'm like, yeah, but you didn't know that I tried to kill myself when I was 16 in high school, because I hated myself that much and didn't feel anyone was there. And so we all have our stories and wouldn't understand unless we listen to one another. So this whole thing with how we judge each other and criticize others, we don't know why. We don't understand them, why they feel that way. And so it's just showing a bit of compassion and grace, but even giving ourselves the permission to, you know, move slower and show our self-loving grace. I feel like we're always taught, love others, love thy neighbors, but do you even love yourself? Do you even accept yourself? And so also with Sacred Her, it's honoring her story as she is, as it unfolds, because we're hopefully never the same as 10 years ago or 5 years ago, and that we're also being better and growing into that. And life does get hard. Someone messaged me probably a week ago, and I just got it a couple of days ago. And she says, I wish I was happy like you. And I go, well, what makes you happy? And who said I'm happy? And I go, I guess I am overall happy. I have joy and I'm grateful. I think gratitude is really what helped me with being happy, but happy is an emotion. So it can change, it can shift, but to have joy, there's lots, and joy for me comes from gratitude. And I do gratitudes every day. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for the partner I have in my life, because I came out of a toxic relationship and did a lot of work on myself to heal and raised my children, my 3 children by myself. And they were 3 under the age of 5, and the stress behind that. And to even be able to work on myself so I could be a better parent to them, that it took work. It took a process. And that's where this whole word grace, I love the word grace, is so important for us to have for ourselves and for one another. So thank you for letting me share all this. That was like a mouthful, but it's like, with that whole judgment thing is we don't know one another's story.
Mm-mm.
And here I'm sharing this, to your audience, it's like, this wasn't made overnight. This person, this woman, you know, this educator, all the roles that I play, but in the essence, who am I being? My choice of being is love, you know, is to show love to others. No, I'm not perfect. Yes, I get mad, and you don't want to see me mad, but it's just, we're all human. And we need so much more grace nowadays, and especially with this time of, a lot of fear is pushing on us, and a
Mm.
lot of unknown that creates that fear. So,
Girl,
mm,
all of that was so good. I'm trying to think where I want to jump in at. So, the loving yourself part,
mhm,
you're correct. To look at you today, you wouldn't even think, number one, that you would have thought about committing suicide, that you would have struggled with your identity. Um, Not any of that, because you look just beautiful and calm. And I wouldn't even think that you would get mad, maybe a little irritated, but not mad. Um, and but you don't know behind the scenes what a person has gone through. And to be a single parent of three children, you said all under the age of 5 at that time, right?
Yeah, now they're 9, soon to be 10, 11, and 14. And they're all bigger than me. I'm the little mama now.
That has to be like, or had to be so stressful to have those small children coming out of a toxic relationship, and just trying to be present and available in a healthy way for your children. Because how do you navigate? Nobody taught us how to navigate that foolishness, because nobody prepared us for it. You don't know what you're going to get yourself into when you're in a relationship, whether it's with a man, with a woman, with a coworker, whoever. These relationships come along and people smile, but behind that smile is a lot of hate and jealousy, and just, I don't know,
Yeah.
evil. Because they'll tell you, I love you today, and hey, here today, gone tomorrow.
Hmm.
Smile in your face, stabbing you in the back. Like, you just don't even know what you're going to get when you see people. That's why I love
Hmm.
people who walk in their truth. When you see them, I think we used to kind of label them as, oh, she's just so, I don't know, I'm gonna say outspoken to
Mm,
be nice. Oh, she's so outspoken. She just say whatever is on her mind. Well, you know what? Those type of people, you know exactly where they stand. You know exactly what they mean, how they feel. There's no pretending
right.
in your face and being something different
Mhm.
behind your back.
Absolutely. And that's boundaries, and we have a choice. We make our agreements, right? Whether we know it intentionally or not, consciously or unconsciously, we make these agreements, and this is just bringing awareness to what are we saying yes to? What are we letting slide that we know we shouldn't let slide?
Mhm.
And it's okay. Here's the big thing. It's okay to change your mind, right? We think once we make a decision, we have to stick it and be, you can't be wishy-washy. No, you can change your mind because we don't always feel the same about something, or maybe something was enlightened and came about, and a light bulb went off, and it's like, wait, no, let me do it this way. It's okay to change course, like, oh, here we're starting a little late and being hard, how you were sharing with me earlier. Like, oh, it's like I didn't start on time. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to start a little late, and it's okay to change course. It's never too late. If you're still alive and still standing, this is the time right now. If you need to rest, rest. Give yourself permission to. Don't listen to everyone else. Everyone else isn't you. They're not experiencing your experience. And I think that's the biggest thing is we have our own experience. We have our choice, our power of choice. Yeah, some things, is beyond our control, like the things we say if it's disrespectful, and I'm not going to go into the whole politics and stuff, but certain things is just use your judgment, use wise judgment. Do you want somebody to talk to you that way? So we can say no. And yes, when we start standing up for ourselves, it may shift a lot of relationships. But when you're saying no to everyone else, you're saying yes to yourself. You're showing yourself that you love yourself, you respect yourself, so listen to your truth and bring awareness to what's around you and what actually feels good. And I think, some people, some people, they're like, well, how did you do that? Well, I had to go through the discomfort. There's always discomfort when it comes to growth. you know Here you're in your comfort zone, and to get to where you want to be, it takes change. And many of us are afraid of change, but you know what, in that change is not going to kill us. Even for me in my business, so I also have Sacred Wealth, and Sacred Wealth is honoring your own wealthy life. It doesn't have to look like, oh, I need a yacht. Is that really a healthy lifestyle? Like, do you want to live on a boat? Do you like going out to sea? And that's all individual choice, but what does your wealthy life look like? And so for me, it's not like, oh, you need this and you need that and you need to do this, but it's about being honest with yourself, and choosing your own truth to make the choices for where you want to go. And it may be saying no to what you were doing before because that wasn't getting you where you need to go to have the life you want. Maybe you got to back off and go into the casino a bit. Just an example, and put that money that you would pay to, in the slot machines, put into another account and save some money that way in a growing account, like a high yield, or, maybe it's a stock, or, I'm not going to go into the whole details of things on how to grow your money. Just look at the interest rate, you know, and then look at your credit card interest rate. This is what I tell my students, when I was teaching them economics, we were diving into the interest rate. Credit cards, you borrow money, it's like 20% interest. You try to save money, it's only 5% interest. So who do you think is banking on your money? The credit cards, right? So it's like making these bringing awareness to your choices. And if you don't know, you got to educate, right? You got to learn. And where do you start? You know, well, we have magical AI nowadays. We got Google, so you can start researching, but then also just dive in and ask yourself, is this for me? We have this innate ability within ourselves called our intuition, our God-given gift, right? And whatever you believe in, and it's really trusting ourselves and saying yes to ourselves. It's saying, I'm going to make this better decision. And sooner, before you know it, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm here. The struggle from having my 3 children, thinking who's going to want to date a woman? Yes, I may bend, but I won't break. Yes, yes, yes. But I used to think, who would want a woman who's single and has 3 children? Who's going to want that? I even had a man tell me that, a boy, I wouldn't say a boy who told me, oh, you have 3 children. That's not what I want. Okay, thank you, next. That's how to be my attitude. Thank you, next. Because then I met someone, who is amazing and incredible in my life and my children's life, and it's by saying no to all the dipshits that are, can I cuss? Sorry. All the, all the lame man out there that didn't resonate, and saying, nope, thank you, next, until you meet that person, that thing, that way that works with you. And that's independent from each person, because we all have our unique gifts. We all have our unique experience, and it's honoring that. And that's true authenticity. Another mouthful. Thank you, sunshine.
Woo! Yes, no, that was amazing. You went into like some of the things that you offer in that mouthful. So I think I kind of want to stay there, because we are a result of our decisions, right? And we can't at a certain age blame anyone else about where we are in life. And like you're saying, instead of blowing your money over here, take your money and put it over there. And so I know you said you didn't want to dive too much into it, but if I was to contact you today saying, I need help, like, what would be the process and how would we get started? Because baby, I'd be over here saying my affirmations. I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm happy, I'm whole. And I'm believing it. Some days I'd be over here saying, girl, yeah. Did you just look at your bank account? Mm-hmm. And I'm still wealthy, because wealth is not all about money.
Right.
But at the same time, you can't go tell the power company, I said I was wealthy, ain't that enough? No, I'm gonna need the dollars. Where are the dollars? Send it to me via credit card, Cash App, debit card, but I don't need your affirmations and confirmations and declarations. I need my money. So we definitely know that we need the financial wealth as well. And so
Absolutely.
what would I have to do in order to start that journey with you?
Yes, thank you for asking. So I do like to have like a meet and greet just to get to know the person, 15, 30 minutes, first consultation. And then the consultation that we dive in, I'm offering a one-on-one session where we talk about strategies. And so that flat fee, $75, and
Hmm.
flat fee can be what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
Applied to?
It will not apply to you, but it will be just scratch out if they use another service that I offer. Because I also offer, I guess I'm diving into it, life insurance and annuities. So annuities is a way to also grow your money. There's different life insurance that we can use to grow your money, protect your family, you know, different things we need to ensure protection for our family. I call life insurance love insurance. You know,
Love
um,
insurance?
Yes, because,
Yes.
I have 3 children, so I go, if anything were to happen to me, and we were in an accident 3 years ago, and I still have some PTSD over that, what would happen to my children? But they still have the lifestyle. I don't want money to be an issue. They got enough to deal with, losing their mother,
Hmm.
if something were to happen to me, and heaven forbids, because I go, I'm gonna see my grandbabies and great grandbabies, but, if anything were to happen, what would happen to them? And that was the biggest thing. That was my concern because I know people I have family who would take care of my kids, but do they have the financial means? So there's that whole other part. So first consultation is free, and we would meet for like 15, 30 minutes to see what it is you're looking for, what needs to be implemented. And then the next consultation, if they decide to continue, would be we meet for a one-on-one session, $75, and that fee can be waived. There we go. It can be waived if using another service of mine, and we can dive into that. I also am working on updating my program, which would now it was a 4-week program, and it was like only $49, and it takes you through steps and strategies. So now it's going to be a 6-pillar program, and that will be released by the end of the month, and the fee is still going to be 49. I want it to be affordable for everyone. I'm as an educator, these are information that we need to know, because here's the biggest thing. We think, oh, wealth is going to come overnight, but a lot of the wealthy, it's old money. They thought about their future. They thought about generations after them. So this is planned, and they put trust in order for these children to have access. If you ask many people who have money, who like ask a teenager or 20-year-old, who paid for this? Oh, my father. Oh, my great grandfather, he pays for this. My father, so it's money that's been passed on. So right now, like if you're like me, I come from a line of broke. My dad grew up in the projects, my mom is from the province. So, they did the best they could with me. And I love them, and I'm grateful for them. But also there's that part how, what Sunshine was saying, we need to take responsibility. So this is my way of taking responsibility in educating myself on, where can I put these money sources? How can I protect my children so that they can be better off, you know, if something were to happen to me, and then teach them? That's the whole other part in creating a legacy. What are we passing on to our children, you know, and our children's children, so that they can pass on? And the problem that we see nowadays is a lot of people have given up. And, as an educator, I see my students who've given up because they don't know which way to go, where to move, or they just don't care because they feel their parents don't care. So everything is a trickle effect.
Oh, that's so sad to hear that their parents don't care. But if you're in
Okay,
a
let me
household,
correct that. Sorry, let me correct that. It's not that parents don't care. Parents are also in a state of probably helplessness, hopelessness, and I see a lot of drugs and alcoholism, that's happening, and it's epic. And so it's like they're in this place of hurt and pain. And so and then they have children or whatever the situation may be, and it the child is going through their own experience and they're saying, well, they don't care, so why should I care? You know what I mean? So this is just kind of like this whole trickle effect of how it could be. But when you take responsibility and you say, no, I'm going to do things different, you give hope moving forward, and you're shifting those agreements that were made before, like, okay, I'll tolerate this. But when you say no and you say yes to yourself, that is the shift, and that is going to move you forward and get you unstuck.
Mhm. And yes, and that's what I was going to say before you clear that up, is that the parents are probably in this state of not knowing which way to go either. And it's creating a household environment of, well, you know, I guess we just gonna die, or something like that. Like literally no direction, no hope. And with social media, it will like amplify it all, because even if you are already struggling and then you start watching that, like everybody has a camera, everybody has a phone, so you're seeing the world through a completely different lens, because used to you could only see it through this form of media, and now you see it from everybody's perspective because everyone has those phones, and baby, we walk around seem like on record. And now you got these smart glasses, and you just walk around with your glasses on, recording everything, everybody, every situation. So it creates a level of uncertainty. You don't feel settled. You do feel more fearful, because it's like, what is really happening in the world?
Mm-hmm.
Not even in the world. Bring it back home, our
Mm-hmm.
country, our state, our city, because like I said, everything is being recorded. Even if it's not the glasses, even if it's not the phone, everybody has a ring camera or something. I mean, like, we are constantly being recorded at the stoplight. So people really do feel a level of fear, anxiety, and helplessness and hopelessness.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do we get out of that state? Because that's the other part of sacred wealth and sacred her is that whole part of um, regulating the nervous system, right? The nervous system. And so a good way is to just come back to breath, come back to your breath. There is so much power in the breath. We don't honor the simple things, and it's just breathing in, because you have this moment and you can shift. And I know the financial part can be tough, but first step with that financial, you got to write it all down, see what it is you're dealing with. What do you have, and then you could take the proper steps to move forward, because you know what you have to move forward with. But coming to breath, taking walks, move your body, dance, listen to music, turn up the music, dance, just moving your body, work out, whatever that is, go for a hike, you know, connect with nature, walk barefoot, there's do something to shift that energy, to bring happiness, to bring joy in, because you can get stuck in that place of fear and feeling like, oh my gosh, but you know what? We're like, there's that thing called intuition that we all have. Start trusting it more, because it guides us, and leads us if we allow it, versus listening to everyone outside of us who they're only they're telling you things from what they've experienced, but that's not your experience. So why not listen to yourself a little more? And this was something that took me a long time to learn, that I'm telling to my kids. I go, baby, don't worry about what other people say. Take your time. But you're going to listen to me. When I tell you to do something, you better get up. But that's a whole thing. But I go, listen to what feels good to you. My daughter, my 9-year-old, I wish I was her when I was 9. She's so confident. And she's like, friends be coming over to go play. She goes, oh, I don't want to play right now. She's going to go take a nap. My baby girl needs her beauty sleep. So but she knows how to ask for things. She knows how to receive, but she also gives,
Mm.
and so I feel like she's such a great example, because For me, I was at 9, I was timid. I was like, why am I not enough? Like I can remember at the age of 9 being like this. And then first husband, second husband, looking for love in all the wrong places because love was within me and I was looking for love outside of me. God lives in here, creator, source, whatever name you want to call, divine love is in me. So then that is what I want to exude out of me. But I had to learn to accept what's here first, and it's still a process. Some days it's rough, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, honor your truth, honor your truth.
Honor your truth, and your truth looks different than other people's, and it's time for us, like you said, to listen to ourselves. I went the other day, I think I told you this when I called you. I went the other day to the park because there's not a lot of grass out here where we live, right? But the spots where the grass, there's a lot of dogs in this complex. So I said, there's no way I'm taking my shoes off and walking over here in this grass because I know every step has been covered with something. But I went to the other next little city and I just took my shoes off and put my feet in the grass. And I went over there. I didn't hug the tree. I wanted to hug the tree, but I just put both of my hands on the tree and I just closed my eyes and I just stood there with my bare feet in the grass and holding on to this tree, just talking to God and just being like, I'm trying to just be outside, get some sunlight, be in nature. Because as a kid, those are some of the things that we did. We ran around outside. It wasn't always go put some shoes on. Sometimes it was, but it wasn't as stiff as it is now. Like it's always got to be a certain way. We shouldn't do that. And like, oh my God. So yeah, it is a process of just trying to get into your own thought process of how life is looking for you.
Yes.
Other people might disagree with it. Girl, don't take your shoes off out there in that dirt. Well, this is what I'm doing because
Right.
I came from the dirt and to the dirt I shall return. So I don't think it's anything wrong with the dirt. God gave us outside and the trees and the grass and the sun for us to enjoy. And sometimes I just be inside too much.
And think about it too. It simplifies things, right? It just simplifies things. It makes it simple. Just going outside, enjoy what's right there before us. Beauty, right?
For free.
Yeah, for free. And we used to hug trees too. When you climb it, you hug the tree and try to go. And we didn't even know that energy exchange. And then I don't know if you ever did. I remember always looking up in the clouds and looking at the shapes and using our imagination, and like now it's like, are the clouds even real? I don't know. I see a lot of stripes up here, the chemtrails. But it's like we don't take that time to pause. And I love that the word Salah, and Salah is to pause and just to be right there. And then there's this whole line of words that kind of just resonates. And I'm just like, these are my words right now. Salah, Shekinah, Ruach. And Ruach. Yeah. So Salah, we find it in Palms or Psalms. I'm all Palms, Psalms. And, but it's like that moment of pause, and just take a moment. And this is that regulate the nervous system, right? Listening to ourselves and listening to where God wants us or whoever we go to, and there's that sacred pause, and then there's this sacred presence, which is Shekinah is presence, and these are words in Hebrew, and the translation of it, it's not just a simplified like English dictionary, but it's the whole process of it, the whole embodying of it, right? And with Shekinah, it's being present right here in this moment. Stop going in the past. If that past is hurting you, let it go. Give it to God, and then, or being in the present, which caused all this anxiety. Just be here. Take care of what needs to be done here, right? And then there's ruach. And ruach is breath. So coming back to breath, breathing, because you know what? As long as you have breath, you're still here. You're still here to change, to move forward, to make anew. You don't have to stay where you are, but it may take some work. No, it's not. It may take. It's gonna take
It's
work.
going to take some
It's
work.
gonna take work. It's gonna take some sweat. It's gonna take some tears. It's gonna take maybe some blood too. Those paper cuts. No, but or but it's just saying, okay, I'm making this choice. I'm choosing me. And what do I want my life to look like? And it's never too late to change it. And
That's
that's
good.
sacred. That's sacred her. That's sacred wealth.
I love that. And I'm glad you said nervous system again, because I was like, there was something that she said that I really wanted to just talk about for a minute. And for so long, I believe, or I know now that I've lived in fight, flight, freeze mode. Like it's just always been a level of survival. And your body should not operate like that all the time. Like,
Right.
even I notice sometimes getting things done is like, it's got to feel like an emergency before I'm just like, because my nervous system is always on 10. And it's like breathing, it feels so good once you really start to just sit and take those breaths. And like, I think I do it 4 4 4. Like you inhale for 4, you hold for 4, and then you exhale for 4. And as you continue to do it, one time I tried to do it standing up and I felt myself getting lightheaded. I was like, girl, if you don't sit down.
Right.
Yeah. So I sat down, and just to feel like just my nervous system. And because I have things going on, it's like I could really feel it, just the
Mhm.
tingle of it, but also like the relaxation of it. And so breathing definitely helps
Yeah.
so much. Um, and yeah, so I really wanted to just say that because it's so true. That
Yeah.
nervous system, it needs to calm down. It needs to like understand that you're safe. You're safe because when you feel that fear, whether it's in your control, out of your control, your body is responding and building up that stress level. It's just hurting you. It's not good for your health, the stress, the cortisol, all of that stuff being on way up here all the time and operating
Mhm.
from that level. It takes renewing of your mind to
Mhm.
understand that it's all going to be okay. It's all going to, however it plays out, it's all going to be okay. The only thing I can do is what's in my control. And so when you started listing the things for us to do, the movement, the journaling, the
Mhm.
breathing, those things are in our control.
Yes.
And so it does start to calm you down, dancing around, like, listening to music. But when you're depressed, and
Mhm.
I know sometimes we just call it the D word, but when
Right.
you're depressed, sometimes that push is very hard. But if
Yeah.
you could just do one thing, take a
Mhm.
shower, celebrate that you got up and took a shower. If
Mhm.
you could do the dishes, celebrate that you did the dishes, especially when you're trying to come out of that place so
Yes.
that you can start to function again in a
Mhm.
healthy
Mhm.
way.
Right. Yeah, and there's that whole other part too. It's easier for us to do something for other people, and for me, I had my 3 children. I go, well, I needed to cook. I needed to get up for them. My daughter wasn't even a year old when I got out of the marriage. And so I had to. And that kind of kept me out of a lot of depression till they went with their dad for the weekend or something. Or then it's like, dang, this sucks. And yeah, celebrate even the small wins. And I don't think we do that enough for ourselves.
We don't.
And that's a whole nother part too that I work. I also coach. So I'm also a neurolinguistic practitioner. So I offer service with coaching as well. So core method. And so it's really looking at the core of us, like where is it that we need regulation? What needs to be changed, transformed, because there's a lot of fear when with the new, and so there's that service as well. Like I said, 15-30 minutes, to discuss what are their needs, and then we can move forward on next steps and stuff. So
Hmm. That's awesome. Now you said something way in the beginning that I want to go back to, because I'm just looking at you right as you're talking. Your
mhm,
hair, your eyes, your skin, your smile, everything is just beautiful, right?
thank you.
But when you said I wasn't black enough, I wasn't Asian enough, like I just didn't even know, excuse me, where I belonged.
Hmm.
Tell me a little bit about that because I'm always so intrigued by
Hmm.
people and the way that they think and their culture and things like that. So just tell me a little bit about that struggle and why was that so difficult.
Well, I remember, you know, I I mean, as kids, you're innocent. One of my mama aunts, she told me how I came home crying one day. I was like 5 or 6. And she goes, "Why are you crying?" She goes, "Well, somebody called me black." And she goes, "Well, what are you?" I go, "I'm brown." So this is like the innocence of a child, but already because of the way how that student said it to me felt like I didn't belong. I wasn't enough, and then even dealing with family members, like my I had to be like a freshman. So my hair got really kinky. I didn't know my hair curled like this until I was like 18, 19. So my hair was a mess. I didn't know what to do with it. It was like big and crazy. So it was like the ugly duckling becoming a swan, right? And so it took till now to like know how to fix myself up, right? And to feel confident in myself, I think is the inner work was the bigger work. But my freshman year, my hair was my aunt said, "Oh, let's do a straight perm," and it burns, and I go, "It's burning." She left it in too long, and my hair broke off, and so even from some of my aunts, there were on both sides, black side, Asian side, there were these ideas like they just hated me, and I didn't understand why. So that made me feel like I wasn't enough. Like on the Filipino side, I was judged like, oh, like we weren't, because we were mixed with black and the other cousins weren't, we weren't pretty, just as pretty or good enough. We weren't gonna amount to anything. And there's that whole stereotype, that we go through as being, you know, melanated people. I was pulled over for the color of my skin. There was a guy I remember, and this guy I had a crush on. He goes, "You would look better if you were lighter." And so there were all these things that added on, and then the fact of not feeling safe, like just having this very deep, you know like I said, I had a suicidal ideation, because I felt like nobody likes me, or I wasn't good enough. I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't smart enough. Growing up, it was like, "Why aren't your grades as good as your sisters?" And I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm just dumb." No, I had to learn how to learn. The way of my thinking was different from hers. I wasn't just necessarily book smart. I had to understand it in a different way. I'm also not an auditory learner, or my auditory gotten better because I had to learn to slow down so I could listen. But I would have been like ADHD back then, so I was like always hyper and stuff. But um the experience of things that filtrated over and over seemed to be repetitive, that I wasn't good enough. And I always related it to the color of my skin and how I was treated by my own family, and, with even friends, thinking people are friends, but they're not really friends, so it was just associated. And that was something that was in my head that I needed to shift, and just say, "You know what? They just have their own pain. They have their own issue. and they're projecting it on me. I didn't know how to do that then. I didn't have those tools. And so really when I think I was 18, I started working on personal growth, but even still I was making a bad decision because I wanted love. So this wasn't always like this, and there's still work. My partner, like I said, he's amazing and held incredible space and really listened to me, and he was a big part also with my own healing journey of learning to receive from you know the person I'm with, or that what I have to say does matter, because he really takes that to heart. So it's, who are we hanging around and who are we bringing it into our lives. It's been a whole process. I had to learn to unravel all the things that was embedded, all the lies that I even told myself, not just other people, from their own experiences. That was their truth that maybe they had to work on and pushed on me. That the part where this one girl called me a monkey and then tried to fight me, that was a heavy part. So there was always this part where I wasn't good enough. I was teased a lot, you know, but I always laugh. I was always joking. I masked. I was good at acting. I should have been an actress because I was able to mask it with a smile. Like everyone would go, "Oh, you have a beautiful smile." Yeah, these teeth were expensive. I had braces. I had like teeth all over the place. They pulled out 10 permanent teeth, so, but I always smiled,
Me too.
with, and that was what told me, oh, as long as I'm smiling, it's safe. Everyone would be like, it's okay. Nobody will ask me questions. No one will say anything. I'll just smile.
Just
And so that was my defense mechanism,
mhm.
you know.
Defense, coping, all of the things, just to smile, because I used to hide mine because my teeth, unfortunately, I didn't, they're not expensive like yours. It is what it is what I got. I'll be thinking about going getting them fixed, but I'm just like, girl, come on now. But I did the same thing. Like I
Mhm.
smiled, and that's a way of trying to protect yourself, like you said. Colorism is definitely a thing, especially I feel like in the Black community, because used to, you had to be lighter skin. Like the guy was telling you, oh, you'd be this if you were lighter skin and all this kind of thing. And
Mhm.
people associated beauty with lighter in a lot of cases.
Yes.
Um, so that's the reason why I think it kind of stuck with me when you said it in the beginning. And I said, I just want to ask her a little bit more about that, because to us, I know to me, you're beautiful. Your hair is beautiful. And I'm thinking about the way that you're saying that they treated you. A lot of times it is jealousy. I know I said a lot on here, but it's the God, the honest truth. Like, you
Mhm.
don't even know if the aunt that put that stuff in your head, if she did that intentionally, because you have a certain type of hair. You can't just be lathering, that stuff on and then leaving it on, damaging the hair. And then here you got to start all over,
Yeah.
being teased even more because now it's all jacked up because of what she did. And then both sides of the family, it's like, what's wrong with y'all?
Yeah. No, it was very insensitive. I had no compassion. I didn't even feel safe. And when my hair broke off, so it was all choppy. It all broke off up to here, and it's choppy, and oh, I was chubby. I was overweight.
Me too.
And so that was a whole nother thing, being chubby and your hair looks jacked up. And I didn't wear makeup then either. So here I have this 13-year-old looking all jacked up, and then like I was active, so I was in marching band, so I was also a nerd.
Yeah, I was in band too, girl. What instrument did you play?
I played the flute.
Me too.
I played the flute. I was a nerd, like a nerd, and I became a cool nerd after 10th grade because my hair grew out. I lost a lot of weight because we were out in the sun marching, and I go, oh, I'm going to try out for well, we called it pageantry, but it was like combination of dance and color guard. And so I go, I'm going to do that. And I did show, I was active. So that helped me like shed all the baby fat, quote unquote. We're going to call it baby
Right.
fat. Now I got mama fat.
Girl, you look beautiful. No, I did not shed mine because of the things that I was going through behind the scenes. It's like I ate more.
Mm.
And girl, I had some embarrassing moments out there on the football field in marching band with that flute in my hand, but I wanted to play the saxophone later. Like I was like, ooh, that saxophone just
Yeah.
looks so pretty and sexy, you know. But Mr. Van Ness, that was my band director. He said, you know how they grade you, like that's how they determine which instrument you should do. So he graded me the highest on the flute. And girl, you be up there playing the stuff, fighting for first chair. Did y'all do that?
I was never that competitive. I'm still not. Like I go, I didn't care about first chair or second chair. I was just like, I played my flute probably, I mean, I still have my flute. So I played it 15 years, so I just I wanted to play the piccolo.
The piccolo. Yeah,
But
so little
yeah.
well, see, it's not like you said, oh, I want to play for first chair.
Yeah.
He made us play like something like, okay, this is your song, do the first line or however they did it, I can't remember. And so we changed chairs. And girl, yeah,
What,
that
they probably did that and I just wasn't aware. Like whatever, like there was probably tryouts and I was just like, nope.
yeah. And I got other fish to fry. I
I
ain't got
got
time
other
to be
things to
bothered
do.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yes.
is so interesting, girl. You play the flute too. That
Yes.
girl.
See, another thing we have in common,
Another thing we have in common.
yeah, and I felt, like I remember in high school, I think that was like my safe place, was getting active. I was part of student council, like different clubs. And so I just was like always at school. I
Mhm.
like school, and it felt safer for me. So, but I've always had this side where I just want to try it. So when I was in my 20s, I danced Brazilian samba professionally. So I was out
What's
there
it called?
samba, Brazilian samba, because I was in the bikinis. I wasn't doing the whole like the fancy stuff, but I was like traveling to Atlanta. We went to Mexico. So think of Rio de Janeiro
Mm-hmm.
Carnival. That was what your girl was dancing in a bikini.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my thing was dance. I love dance. Dance was my other side thing. Was what I was my escape. That was how I expressed myself. And so that kept me together.
Mhm.
Kept me together, and that was where I felt my most confidence, because I'm moving and I felt good. And somewhere, I don't know if I looked as good as I felt, but you couldn't tell me nothing.
Mhm.
That was the place, and so um, having something that you enjoy doing, is a big part because nobody can take that away, if you. So I have so many things. I like books. If I could learn, if I had the time to sit and read, there's tons of books that I have. Dancing. I just love learning. I'm a forever student. So
And I was thinking about going back and taking a class because as you're bringing me back to the high school, junior high school band days and stuff, I'm just thinking about like, number one, I wish that counselors were more of, um, I don't want to call them personal counselors, but they were just more concerned about the classes that you're registered for,
mhm.
not really what's going on with you. I see your grades are dropping. Are you okay? Or whatever. Like we didn't have those type of counselors. But for a period, I believe that I was kind of considered a nerd, kind of. But then when life was starting to happen and the abuse started happening,
Mhm.
and then it just, oh my God, like my mind was just not right. Like I didn't know if I was going or coming or really what was happening, because it was happening in different ways, by different people.
Right. Right.
And when you said your books, I was thinking in my mind, because I'm packing up, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm keeping my books. I just said this like this morning. I'm keeping my books. What else did I say? I'm keeping my kitchen gadgets. And it was another thing I said I'm keeping. Oh, my pictures, like my kids'
Yeah.
pictures,
Of
everything else,
course. Yeah.
it could just go. Like the clothes, I don't even care. Like clothes could go, papers could go, dishes could go. I'm keeping the books,
Yeah.
pictures, and the kitchen gadgets. Not like I even love to cook, but I just always got this kitchen gadget. I said my juicer, my
Yes.
Ninja, um, just silly stuff, just
No,
so
no, no.
about
Those are great
myself.
stuff.
But I talk so much, I lose the direction that I'm going. But I wanted to get back to probably going to school. Not that I'm trying to go back in the past, but I do often think about, like, who would I have been had I not gone through all of this abuse? Physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse. Like, who could
Yeah.
I have been? And even though my mind and my memory, because of the nervous system, because of the trauma, I don't remember the same. I
Yeah.
don't learn the same.
Yeah.
Um, but I was like, you know what? You can do this. Like, you still have breath, like you were saying, as long as you have breath in your body, you can still become and do some of the things. It may look different because now you're older, your kids are grown, and you'll never know what it would have been. And so just grieve that, and
Yes.
then be in the present and do what you can in the present for you now. And so I said I was going to go take some psychology classes.
Okay.
Because again, I asked you the question because I'm very intrigued about the mind and what make people do the things that they do.
Right.
And that probably also stems from the abuse, because it's just like the mental health issues and the disorders that go
Mm-hmm.
um, undiagnosed,
Mm-hmm.
because people don't even know what it is. Like now you're saying, oh, back then that was probably ADHD, the way that I was behaving, but it didn't have a name. Schizophrenia probably didn't have a name when people was just like saying they're possessed, but really they had a disorder that did not.
Well, sorry, I'm like, let me back up on that too, but continue. I'll come back to it.
No, no. I mean, but that's just basically
Yeah.
it. Like I love this platform
Yes.
because every time I have another guest, it taps into a different part of who I am, who I was, and who I'm becoming.
Yes.
And I pray right now that these episodes will help the person that's listening or the person that listens later just step into their full potential, regardless of what their past looked like. Because do
Yes.
it now. Like, get up and do something for you now and then celebrate it. So, you know what I'm doing? I'm going to celebrate sunshine because I got up and I did conversations with Celena. I got up and I did it this morning, and it has been just amazing for me. And you know how we say if we can help one person, it's all worth it. It's the
Mhm.
God, the honest truth. And so you have blessed me today. And I just want to say thank you again for coming on here and just blessing us. And now I'm done. You can say what it is that you have to say, because you the guest, girl, and I'm here doing.
And I was like, oh man, are we closing here? Because I go, maybe I should, but I was just gonna say, you know what? Your story, what you've been through, would it make you sunshine today?
Say it
And
one more time, girl.
your past, your story, your old story, would it make you who you are today sunshine? Would it make you sunshine today? You are sunshine. You're embracing sunshine. And it took that pain because, I didn't dive into that part, the abuse, right? The sexual abuse, the mental abuse, the financial abuse, you know, all I've been through it, you know, at a young age. And I don't really dive into it because these are some things that hasn't even been shared with my own immediate,
Mm-hmm.
but it's out there now. So, yeah. So, even at a young age, and even someone from the church, where it's like, and here I am able to be here and be like, you know what, I'm still standing. I survived that BS, you know, and, and, whatever happened has happened with those people, you know, but I'm here and I'm choosing to move forward in my own terms. So, like, when you meet someone, if they don't resonate or you feel unsafe, you say thank you next. It's not your time. You don't have to deal with that. You don't need to tolerate. If you want to be better, go out there, explore, learn, go back to school like you, Sunshine, right? That's why I'm a forever student. I don't stop learning. That's where I came across neurolinguistics programming, hypnosis. Then I learned about shamanism, which is a whole nother beautiful thing that I've added with all that I do, because it's honoring our gifts. We think of schizophrenia and we don't honor that some of us have the gift of, clairvoyance, where we can speak to the unseen world. And it's very taboo. And now probably I'm going in a woo-woo in a whole different section, but it's honoring our truth. And I think with schizophrenia, there's so many things. Yeah, there's those who are just really crazy, probably doing drugs or whatever, but there's also probably another part of it where there's some truth behind that, where you got to learn to honor that gift and lean in a little more. So I don't know what, the story is with the person. And, it's important we have psychologists and psychiatrists. I feel like, yeah, those are needed as well. But there's also a part for us to learn and develop who we are, because often we're never performing at 100% of what we're potentially capable of doing. We're probably like at like 15% or something
Well,
that
it's
we should.
fear. Some
What
of
is?
it's fear, some of it's programming.
Mhm.
I was having a conversation with my friend the other day, and she was saying how, how your parents tell you you better be on your best behavior.
Yep.
It's like learning to act at an early age, because instead of
Mhm.
saying, how did she say it? Basically, like, go over there, remember your manners or whatever. And
So,
but you're telling them be on your best behavior. So go over there and act like you guys
yeah.
like you got some sense. But
Yes.
words are so powerful. Like, we don't even understand when we're saying things just how powerful it is and how it trains you to perform. And,
Right.
and there's only a handful of people that I think really walk in their true self, no matter who's around. The pastor could be around, the teacher could be around, the spouse could be around, the parents could be around, and they're going to be who they are.
Mhm.
Everyone else, the role shifts. Or if
Mhm.
I'm over here, I'm like this. Or if I'm with my friends, we driving it like it's hot. If I'm with the pastor, I got on my whatever you call
Yellow.
it, dolly. Yeah. And I'm over here being the usher at the church, just taking on all these different roles,
Yeah.
and then being confused of who am I really? And then you're afraid of being exposed. But if you
Mhm.
really walked in your true self every day, no matter who was around, there's no exposing. You don't have anything to use against me. You can't blackmail me. You can't be like, oh, I'm gonna tell so and so, because I done already told them. So there ain't nothing that you have
Yep.
on me that I haven't shared. And
Yep.
so when people say, well, why are you online? I always say this: why you online telling all your business? It's not even that I'm telling all my business. Like, I'm really trying very hard to stand in my truth, tell what I need to tell as God gives it to me to tell, so that I can really be free my latter days. Because my
Mhm.
previous days, I felt like a prisoner. They say you're free, but no, I didn't feel free. You didn't
Mhm.
feel free. You didn't even feel safe. And neither did I. And I didn't know how to turn around. I didn't know how to go back to where my safe place was,
Mm.
you know. And so I stayed in this unhealthy environment that almost took my life, like more than once. And
And,
yeah,
and
so
that's where we call in grace. We didn't know any better, and there's a whole lot of fear behind that, right? What am I gonna do? Where am I gonna go? How am I? Because your life was with that person, and I know that feeling because I was scared to leave. And then another part was I didn't want to be another statistic as another Black single woman, you know, and I'm just like, why? But it when it becomes life or death situation, you're gonna figure that shit out some way, one way or another. Sorry, I keep cussing. I cuss a lot. That's something that got me in trouble at school. I need to, but I go, this is who I am. I go,
girl, it don't even look like it. It don't even look. You just look so innocent to me. So when you talking
oh,
about I cuss
my
a lot,
kids, my children, they laugh at me when I cuss because I guess I sound so soft. They were like, you guys need to clean this fucking room. And they're like, Mom is so cute. My little mommy, because they know I'm not cussing at them. I'm saying you gotta clean my kids are funny and they put me in check, because I'd be like, y'all need to act right, like how you were saying. Like, are we teaching our kids? I go, you guys don't know how to act right. Rather than using my words, because that was what I was told. You guys, they're like, Mom, what is acting right? And we all started cracking up laughing because I'm all like, yeah, you got me. Because I go, what is acting right? I
what
go,
is
just don't be
acting
doing this.
right?
Yeah, what is,
Yes.
he asked a good question, and I'm like, well, first of all, don't be doing this. Stop making those animal noise. You're not, I guess you are an animal, but you're not that animal.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So I
That's
think it's that part of humbling too, but it's also that grace and honoring our truth because you knew you shouldn't have been in that situation. You deserve more. You're but you got out and you're still here. And
yeah.
amen to that. Thank you, because we connected and I wouldn't have been able to meet you and experience your sunshine that you offer us. So your story is that message. Your test is your testimony. Your mess is your message. So there's no retracting that. Is just moving forward and utilizing what you've been through to help be a light to others, to shine your sunshine to others. And that's where we got to start. It's just, okay, I'm a mess right now. I'm in some hot shit, right? And saying, but I'm going to change it. I'm going to put myself in a better situation. I'm changing my agreements. And the first agreement, we cut in this,
Hmm.
because yeah.
So I was gonna ask you, and I'm sorry, girl. I know we're gonna wrap it up because I could just keep on
I
going.
know we can keep talking. I know we can.
I know. So when you were talking about being a forever student
Yes.
and the struggle that you had between not feeling enough, do you feel like the push that you had, because now you're about to have your doctorate degree, so I'm about to be calling you Dr. Sia.
Doctor, see you later. No,
See you later. But sometimes that schooling, sometimes that success, it all stems from early on not feeling enough. Like I'm having to prove myself. And so did it start out like that? Like I'm trying to prove now I'm my mom or family didn't think I was as smart as my sister, but I'm going on to get my degree. And then once I get that degree, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get me another degree. But
Mhm.
was that the driving factor? And at some point, did it change from that
Mhm.
driving factor to just this is what I want to do for me?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it did. I was proving to my mom, I wanted my mom to love me. to prove like I wanted my mom to love me, and I'm like, look, I'm good enough. I got a master degree to prove to her, like, look, I can be smart. And it became a point, where I asked her, why don't you love me? So this is what there's story to this, but I always felt I was never good enough for my mom, and my mom is the most amazing woman. She works hard. She worked 3 jobs to take care of my sister and I. I mean, there's like a lot of story. My dad suffered through PTSD, which is his story, but my story in that was I got really hurt from it. And my mom had to take my sister and I out, and she took care of us. That was, her strength is amazing. But something where I felt was she never loved me. And learning my mom's story, her mom died when she was 3, so she didn't have a mom. So now at this time, it's like she's seeing how I love my children, and she's like, oh, so it's showing her grace as well. But up to my master's degree, going $180,000 in debt, to prove like, listen, am I good enough now? Am I good enough now for you? And I don't know if I am or not. Her partner tells me, like, your mom's so proud of you. I don't feel that. But I was just like, fuck it. Sorry, I'm just cussing up a story. I just, this, it's like, whatever, this is for me. This is for my children. This is the doctorate is for me because it's something I love to explore. I love religion. I love culture, and it's like bringing it all together. So this is something I get to do. And I chose it for myself, and I just said, I stopped trying to please her and to gain her love, and just said, you know what? It's about me anyways. And it's okay to say that, for the longest time, it had to be about everyone else. But now it's like, no, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm feeling. I feel like shit right now. F it. I don't want to do nothing, and allowing myself the space to do that. To have a moment of just like, I'm going to go crazy, and then go back. Like my partner, he deals with my craziness, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Because in my own head, I was thinking something, and he, the miscommunication.
Mm-hmm.
So he was able to also, like I said, he's a big part of my healing because can hold that space and offer this grace that I never experienced ever, and I'm so grateful for him, that I met someone like that. And I said no to all the other hoes, and said, thank you, next, until he came. And he was like, and there were times where I was like, this isn't working. I don't know how many times I was trying to end it with him. And he goes, well, let's talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I need a day though. And he gave me that day, the grace, and he helped me in my own becoming of giving myself permission. It helped me give permission to myself to have space to think, to be me, to have this conversation, this dialogue with myself of why am I doing this? Why do I feel this way? And to continue growing and developing and being better, because there's a lot of reflection we need to do. That's why journaling helps, right? Coming to breath so that we can calm down the energy when we feel like we're going to explode. But coming to breath and like, okay, I am here. I'm right here. I'm right here, and saying, all right, okay, I did this wrong. Okay, how can I correct it? Whatever it is. So it's just given that space to say yes to yourself in whatever emotion and what's coming up, because let's face it, we go through challenges. Changes is it's challenging because we're facing something unknown. But after we jump that hurdle, it's like, oh, I did it. And we start proving to ourselves, oh, I can do this. I can do this too. And it's just taking those steps. And sometimes you're setback, but you keep on going. It doesn't mean not, it doesn't, no, it doesn't mean not, never. It means probably not right now.
Yeah.
And we need to add, like, have more time. But if that's something you really want to do, you go for it. And don't let anyone stop you.
And not let the focus be anyone else except for that person in the mirror, which is why I love I Owe Her, because it is about you and the little girl in you and the woman that you
Mhm.
are becoming. And it's not about anyone else, because you could bust your heart and still not be loved and accepted the way that you desire. And the person or people that you're looking for this love from may not even have the capability. The only issue sometimes is that, well, it appears that they have that capability, but it's just not for me.
Mhm.
But as long as when I look in the mirror, I can say, I'm proud of you. I love you. And that's for anyone that's listening. As long as you can look in the mirror and say, I'm proud of you. I love you. Keep going, then you're turning it inward and you're not out here chasing love in all the wrong places and just setting yourself back even more, even more. But like you said, the
Mhm.
mess becomes our message, our pain becomes our purpose. So all of those things, regardless of how traumatic it was, it just somehow works together for your good of who you're becoming. Does it hurt? Oh my God. Like, you don't even want to be here some days. And but if you make it through another day, it just works together, and you can take that and you can help other people along this thing called life.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's Sacred Her, right? So Her stands for Highly Exalted Rebel. So that rebel part, we have to say no to everyone else so that we can say yes to ourselves. So I just wanted to share that part of Sacred Her because everything you say, yes, it's it's honoring that whole journey to this moment, right? And all we have is this moment. And how do you want to live it? You know, what do we need to do to change so we can make it so that it's something we want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I'm talking to myself again too, because I'm like, okay, Miss Barnes, where are we going now?
Jennifer Barnes.
Jennifer Barnes. We're gonna add Natasia Barnes. We're just gonna say Natasia Barnes.
Natasia. Natasia. Um, so let's see. Are we gonna take us a break real quick? And let me tell you what we're gonna do when we come back. When
Ooh,
we come back, it's only like two questions. So one is, if you could tell your younger self something, what would you tell Tasia? And then and then out of all the things we said in this hour and a half, if if you wanted someone to have one golden sunshine takeaway, be like, if you didn't remember anything else from what I said today, please remember this. What would that sunshine takeaway? What I call it, sunshine golden nugget. What was that sunshine golden
Sunshine
nugget?
Golden Nugget. Ooh, I like
Yes,
that.
girl. So think about that, and then we'll be right back.
Okay. How long?
Hang tight, my sunshine. Conversations with Celena. We'll be right back. Hey, sunshine. All right, y'all. Before we go to Miss Barnes for her for her final thoughts, I do want to put this up on the screen. Let me see if I can let me stop this and then just pop this up here. Okay. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. So this is what I
Hmm.
wanted to put on when she said Lake Tahoe, because we're gonna have us a conversation with Celena live from take Lake Tahoe, probably sometime next year. But this year, we had guests on, and they were Miss Black California USA pageantry, and they're going to be going to the East Coast for nationals. So when they come back from nationals, there's going to be a cruise out of Los Angeles, and contact Miss Gina at Cruise Brothers if you're interested. And Gina's number is on the screen, so contact her. It's going to be going out of the Port of Los Angeles September the 14th through the 17th. So mark your calendar, sign up, get your flight, whatever it is that you need to do if you would like to come and cruise with us, celebrating the Black Women of Excellence, Miss Black California USA. Okay? Okay, so let's put us back on up there. Ooh, we close up. Hold on. There we go.
And I was like, ooh, wow, you're getting.
Yeah, we were close. So yeah, so I did want to put that out there so that if anyone is interested, there's the information.
I love that. Yay, Miss
Yay!
USA.
And then we're gonna be doing Lake Tahoe next year.
Oh, maybe we can talk about it being a retreat. I don't know. What do you think, Sunshine?
I love that. I absolutely love that. That's what I've been wanting to do anyway. So things just come together. And that's a word right there. If you show up, the doors will start to open because people will see that you do what you say you're going to do. You show up. You may not be as consistent in your mind as you want to be, but people see you weekly showing up. And so you see how easy that was? How about we make it a retreat? Well, the Lord knew I've been wanting to do a retreat anyway. So, you know, we might have a retreat in Lake Tahoe next year, 2027. Look
Yep.
at God.
Oh, we're calling it in. It is done.
It is done.
Okay.
All right, girl. So, whichever question you want to answer first, go ahead. You want me to ask you again? What do you want to tell your younger self, and one golden sunshine nugget for the audience?
Okay, so my younger self, to my baby girl self that never felt she was quite enough, that she was always enough, and she just forgotten where that love came from, and it was always within her. You know, she was created, designed with beauty, with love, with everything she needs to prosper. But all that was taken, not on purpose in most cases, unintentionally, but it's okay. Now it's time to remember, and she is safe. So that's what I would tell that's what I'm telling my younger self now.
Mm-hmm.
Look how far we've gone. Look at where we are now. Here we are.
Yes.
My younger self, and to and to everyone who is listening, it's never too late. It's never too late. Always grow. Always be willing to be the student, not just the teacher. You know, because being a student, I feel, takes a bit of humbling. It's saying, okay, I don't know everything, and do we ever know everything? You know, so when you can be the student, you can always grow, you can always rebuild, you can always change, and it's just filling in more knowledge. But also remember to pause, be present, and to breathe, because as long as you're doing those things, you're here to make a difference and change your own world, and therefore what happens in your own world will be a counter effect around you. So
I love that. Thank you so very much. Even your dog was chiming in at the end.
that dog. That dog.
That dog. Dog say, listen, you've been in there long enough. Come on up out of there.
Oh yeah, I could call her right now. She'll come right here. She's like a puppy. She's no longer a puppy. That big
But
old
she
dog.
thinks she's a puppy.
Oh, she does. She thinks she's the baby. Let me see. Here she comes right now. I'll show you. Come here, Roxy.
Come say hey, Roxy.
Come say hi. Isn't that a cute little face? Isn't that a cute face? Her breath stinks though.
Oh my goodness. What type of dog is Roxy?
What?
What type of dog is Roxy?
She's a mix. She's got Shepherd, Rottweiler, Akita.
I saw the Shepherd. I wasn't sure. Yeah.
Yeah, she's protective. You know, this is her house. Anyone who comes around, she has a scary bark. I think it scares her sometimes. But.
Yes, indeed. That sounds like Rollo. When he barked, he got to shake his head like, ooh, that was loud. All right, girl. Well, listen, thank you so much. Thank y'all for joining. Be sure to share this video. And until next time, you hang on 1 second, Jennifer. Don't hang up. Until next time, y'all go share a smile and spread some sunshine. Keep it smiling, sunshine.